Your life is an abundance of your relationships. Your life is made up of who you spend your time with and who you know. And that becomes more valuable than money. Thank God for the money needed to pay for those fellowships in those relationships. I am, as a pastor of World Changers Ministry, it is my responsibility as your pastor to prepare you for whatever may happen in this upcoming economic situation. And you know how you're going to be prepared? Keeping your eyes on what Jesus has already done. All right. Whew. Lord have mercy. World changes. Now, here's where the confusion happens. The law can still bring temporary outward success because it appeals to our natural efforts. So it can still, people who are living under the law, they can still have outward temporary success because it appeals to our natural efforts. So please understand that. So somebody say, well, I did that and this came. Well, yeah, you can still have that. But you're going to be missing out on the other slices. You can still do that because that's what happened to all of us. When I was teaching prosperity under the law, it was producing effects in our lives. But John 10:10 gives us a key. The life Jesus is talking about isn't just physical. It's spiritual abundance. It's deep transformation. And it's a relationship with God that makes the physical stuff seem secondary. Look at John 10:10. He says, the thief comes not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. He says, I am come that they might have life and that they might have it in abundance to the full until it's overflow. He's not talking about he did not say, listen, look at it. He did not say, I am come that you might have stuff. He didn't say that I've come so you can just have lots of money. He says, I came that you might have a whole life, wholeness, that you might have life, and that you might have it more abundantly, wholeness in every area, nothing missing and nothing broken. Jesus said, I didn't just come so you can have materials. I came so you can have materials and peace and joy and relationships and identity. And I want you to have life. You use the word life because it's all of those things included that makes up life. So it doesn't exclude materials because you know you live in a material world, but you just keep focusing on all of the scriptures that talk about life and wholeness and reduce it and cheapen it to just stuff. I can see them taking them invitations back now. I love staying home. And it makes the physical stuff seem secondary. You watch as you get older. Physical things don't matter to you as much as your peace. I ain't got time to be doing this, robbing me of my peace, wonder who talking about me, wonder what they gonna find me, when they gonna do that. I got to have my peace. If it costs me my peace, it's too expensive. I got to have my peace. Relationships? You begin to see how important those other things. But then like you can't get dumb deep. Yes, I just want my peace in my relationship. I don't need to have money. Stop, girl, stop. That ain't what he's saying either. Wholeness. As you get older, you really ain't looking at what kind of car you drive. Because you know what it's like to have a new car. The new smell gold. And you left with, got to pay this thing. Oh, I'm going to get me another house. You know, I don't want to move. I'm tired of moving. And then you got all these boxes, and then you move, and then this stuff in the box for 10 years. What's in this box? And it's just like... And then what means a lot to you is that your life is an abundance of your relationships. Your life is made up of who you spend your time with and who you know. And that becomes more valuable than money. Thank God for the money needed to pay for those fellowships in those relationships. But those things are important. Because you're older and gray and you thought that was everything. And you know what happens? Once you reach the end of your journey, it just wasn't what you thought it was going to be. This is what Jesus came so we can have. Not some, what do they call them things? Where you go in and you gamble, you play cards, you do all of those kind of. Yeah, he didn't die so we can have a casino. Come on, let's go to church and make a deal. Let's make a deal with God. Now, Jesus made a deal with God, and the deal is this new covenant that he made, and he did everything we need to do. The deal's been made. So some pastors have asked, and I even asked this, why then was I so successful under the law and I had a growing church under the law? 40-something thousand members under the law. Listen to me carefully. Because people might respond to the law because it feels like something they can control. Like if they perform right, they'll get the blessing. So I can kind of control my outcome. Okay. You know, if I pray for an hour a day, I can control my outcome. I feel like I control my outcome. If I give 10%, I feel like I can control my outcome. You know, if I stay away from this sin and stay away from that sin, I can control my outcome. If they can tell me 5 principles to get the Holy Spirit to move, I can do the 5 principles and control my outcome. But in relationship, it's not about control. It's about getting to know one another and getting to relate with one another and getting to trust one another and getting to flow with one another and work with one another. Yeah. When the Lord showed me grace, I made a decision I was going to teach grace until I leave the planet. And there are church people who, I mean, I'm good. It's like, here it is. You have to decide to do with it. But I ain't going to stop preaching it because you are stuck in the thing you've always known. I'm going to keep going at it because I love you. I'm going to keep going at it because I love you. Well, I don't know about that. You're right. You don't know. So keep your mouth closed and get in the Bible and study it. Because right now, this is my life. Right now, this is the only reason I'm on the planet. And I ain't leaving until I'm finished. So there might be an initial appearance of success, but in the long run, the law always leads to more striving, more burnout, and more guilt. You know what I'm saying is true. It's like under the law, if you got a bit of success, now you feel like I got to do more of it. I did that with prayer. I'm praying, and I seem like I got a bit of success because I would strive in my prayer, so I got to do more. The hour wasn't enough. Now I need to do 2 hours. Now I need to wonder what happened if I did 3 hours. What happened if I did 4 hours and 3 weeks of praying? It just leads to more and more striving. And I strive like that because I wanted God to use me to rescue a family member And that's when it all came down. That's when the whole thing started tumbling down. That I did everything. I strived and did everything, and nothing went my way. They died. And I said, okay, so what's up? What was all that? I mean, I did exactly basically, I did exactly like they said. Because I didn't know how to rightly divide between what was true under the old covenant and what was true under the new covenant. And I was paralyzed at that point. I said, that didn't work. Can I be very, very vulnerable and transparent with you? I'm like, that didn't work. So now I am questioning you in doubt. That didn't work. I did it. Now, I had some success here through the years, some success there. Oh, that would happen, but it kept leading to more and more striving, more and more burnout. I said, so here it is, God. I need to hear from you. And Lord, I'm afraid if I don't hear something from you, I'm done with this. I'm tired of these mean, hellacious Christians who are making my life miserable. And they was probably tired of me too, because we was all under the law, striving. Sweating like sinners, and we supposed to be saints. Supposed to be saved, but now we sweating more like sinners. And so I said, I'm not going to bed until I got to see something. Because I done spent all this time teaching this, and it didn't work. Somebody said, well, how come it didn't work? Because it had already worked. It was already finished. I was trying to perfect what was already there. And I was coming up the step, getting ready to go to my office, and the Lord said to me, will you become a student of grace? And I paused, I heard it, just like you're hearing me now. Will you become a student of grace? Well, I paused because I thought I was already a student of grace. Like so many people, they think they understand grace. You know, I believe in grace. I believe in God's unmerited favor. Grace is so much more than that little textbook definition, unmerited favor. Grace is unmerited, abounding provision in the unrestricted, unrestrained love of God that comes through Jesus Christ for mankind. And it works especially for those who depend on Him and know Him as a person and not just a curriculum. So I said, well, what does that mean? And I didn't hear nothing else. You know how God is. God ain't going to sit there and try to explain nothing to you and satisfy you. He said what He said, and that's up to you to figure out what's going on. So I looked up every scripture in the Bible on grace because I was missing something. And I used to call it contradictions. I used to say Bible's contradicting itself. Over here it says this, but over there it says that. That's why I started getting delivered. Over here, you sent fire down and you burnt these guys up and killed them. But over here, they could be saved. Over here, the Sabbath was a day of rest. But over here, you said Jesus is the Sabbath. Over here, you said, bring all your tithes or you're going to be cursed. But over here, you said, give generous. Because over here, you had a high priest by the name of Melchizedek. But over here, Jesus is our Melchizedek. I said, oh, Lord. First thing I got to do is learn how to read the Bible. I was preaching mixtures. I was preaching what was true under the old covenant and mixing it with what was true under the new covenant. And He had already told me you can't take new wine and put it in the old wineskins or it'll burst and you'll lose the benefit of both. And the harvest is zero. Nothing. I read and I study, and everything I can put my hands on. And I went to the store to see if I can get some books on grace, and there's not many of them. That's why I'm going to write about 50 to 100 for the next 2 or 3 years over with. It's like, where is it? And then I didn't know that the faith people were having a fight with the grace people, and I didn't even know that. I remember when me and Taffy and Ken and Nan went to a meeting, and we all got in the car. Didn't nobody want to say nothing. We heard it, but we were like, man, what are you talking about? Because it was contradicting our traditional thinking. And so I took a risk. Some of you were here. I got on the pulpit. I said, guys, I don't think I was exactly right about a lot of stuff, so if you'll go with me, we're going to look at some things. We're going to start off with a series on the love of God. And then we're going to start dealing with what was true in the old covenant, what was true in the new covenant. And we start going. And I mean to tell you, people ran out of here like somebody had a bomb strapped to them. I just knew it was right. I never thought I would ever hear the word heresy attached to my name. But I knew it was right. And the only way I could prove it was go in my kitchen and cook it myself. And God was rearranging stuff in me and moving stuff around and having me confront stuff about me and looking at me. And I realized that grace was changing me. See, if grace don't change you, that's where it starts. And I was becoming a more kinder, gentler leader with empathy and love for people. And then I got delivered from approval addiction. And then I didn't care what folks said. Then people who said they were my friends dismissed me. And I'm like, you're making a mistake. I'm the best friend you ever had. You're making a mistake. Are you willing to stand the test to get to that place? And a lot of people aren't. Let's just stick with what everybody's saying. That's what I was told. You don't want to get too far out there because you'll be saying something differently to what everybody else is saying. Then I remember, I'm a world changer. Man, it was tough. I was almost afraid of the teaching of grace because it seemed like all kinds of crazy stuff was happening. That's when I later on got sick with those 3 items: COVID, shingles, cancer. I'm like, what is this? And I am prepared to finish this assignment. But something different is happening now. God told me, you're not preaching to your present generation, you're teaching to the future that's coming. And they won't have to go through all that. Now, the unchurched young people, they get what I'm saying just like that. It's them religious people. Ooh, that was grace. And then Taffy started preaching on biblical equality. Oh, dear God. Which is just rooted in the gospel of grace. Trying to set women free to think and use their brain and not sit around like some little puppet, but learn how to be an asset to your spouse and not some weight. I said, oh, Taffy, we in trouble. But Jesus said, he says, they that live godly shall suffer persecution. So now, the both of us went, well, whatever. Because we don't need your approval to do what God told us to do. We grown. Somebody got to do it. I ain't talking about me and Taffy. I'm talking about all y'all. Somebody got to do it. You don't understand. There's a grace gang that's growing every single day around the world who understands with scriptural explanation of this gospel of grace. And we still think that it's just unmerited favor. It is unmerited favor, but it's Jesus. Jesus full of grace and truth. Jesus. How high? How wide? How deep? You think you can describe him? Unmerited favor. That's it. He's Jesus. Jesus said in Mark chapter 5, verse 39 and 40, he said, these scriptures in the old covenant and everything you see, they speak of me. Everything in that old covenant speaks of me. Every covenant that was made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all of those covenants we brag about, those covenants were fulfilled in Jesus. And you're still stuck on, well, I got the covenant of Abraham. Well, thank God. You know how you got it? Through the fulfillment of Jesus. Jesus is the fulfillment of every promise that was ever made.
Jesus died to save the entire world. Today, he's training us in grace so that we can go out and influence someone else's life. That's why I'm so grateful for the friends and partners of this ministry who freely and cheerfully give financial offerings to support us. You understand our vision and you help us in so many ways to reach those who are searching for hope in the midst of darkness. Thank you for empowering us to expand God's kingdom worldwide.
Your financial donations into this ministry work all over the world to change countless lives. If you'd like to support our efforts to save the lost, you may call in or visit creflodollarministries.org today. God bless you.